Yo,
What it do, baby?
man, what's going on, man?
We're bike.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Bike. Shout it. How you
Well,
how you feeling, man?
man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot
Yeah?
of stress.
What
But
you
other
gonna
than
do
that, I
about
feel
it?
good, man.
What you
I
gonna
feel
do
good.
about it?
But it's a lot of stress.
I feel you, bro.
That football, working two jobs, still taking care of home, do what you gotta do, cooking, cleaning, taking out the trash.
Okay.
It ain't easy, champ.
You going for the Man of the Year award.
Hey man, I don't even want that award, man. I just want to be left alone at this point. Hey, but on some real note, let me tell you something, man. Dana Faber was down here for
Okay.
Destiny's Sweet 16 or whatever, right? And I went to the grocery store with him, and I was just thinking about everything that I had to do and everything that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to stop in one of the aisle. I think we was in the cereal aisle, and I said, man, it is not easy being a man. And not that I condone it, not that I accept it or believe in it, but I see why some guys run away from this responsibility. It is not for the weak.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It is not for the weak. You have to be mentally strong before you can be physically strong in order to be a man. So when you guys are out there talking about, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, no, you're not. Because it is what you do is what solidifies you as a man. It's what your actions, how you taking care of your family, your environment, your community, all that plays a role in ties of you calling yourself a man. It is more than just those three little letters. It is huge responsibilities that is attached to every single letter that makes you a man. Just having a male testicles and having the male testosterone and all does not make you a man. It does not make you a man. It is more to it than
Well,
just saying that you're a man.
actually in the world today, you don't need none of that to be a man nowadays,
I
but you know,
mean, nowadays they want you to be a woman, but at the end of the day, that's for
man,
those
yeah, a
who
whole nother topic.
that's for that's for whatever. But it is not easy, man. It is not easy at all, and I see why some people run away from it. I understand. I mean, I see, but it's no, it's not. I'm not saying that it's easy for women either. But when we talk about just focusing on men, here for just for the men, it's not easy at all, man. Just what the world throws at you, it's not easy, man. But that's what I've learned the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I've
hear you.
learned.
I've been going through it too, man. But to God be the glory. He's allowing me to go through it and come out. And like you said, a lot of it to me, I wouldn't be as far as I am, and or even claim to be able to do the things that I can do if I wasn't anchored in my belief system, in my faith, bro. Like
Mhm.
I feel exactly what you're saying, bro. It just takes more than just that.
Yeah, it is. It's it is.
We're gonna have to address that at some point in time, man. Because I see
No, no,
these
no. We do, and it
videos,
is.
right?
It's it's a because whenever you bring that conversation up as it ain't easy being a man. The first thing women say is, "Well, it ain't easy being a woman." It's not about challenging the perspectives on either the man or the male. We just as men sometimes we have to be able to say that because women get the opportunity, or majority of the time, they get the opportunity to say they're tired, or they will voice it in some ways. We are told not to be able to express ourselves. We are told not to be expressive. You dig what I'm saying? So it's when a man said he's tired, it's not taken away from what the responsibility of a woman does or what a woman is doing. It's not by any means making the woman less. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that we talking about the man. We talking about the male aspect. When a man said he is tired. Just the same way when a woman says she's tired, she is tired. But most of the time, as soon as a man says, "Oh, I'm tired," it's like we weak. You weak. You're supposed to be able to handle this. But I'm not. I'm even a donkey. A donkey who's one of the hardest working animal, right? Even he gets tired.
Mm-hmm.
Even he gets tired. Even the biblical, in the biblical sense, he gets tired.
No, I feel you. I was talking about from a man's standpoint. I seen this video with this dude, man, right? And he told the guy, like, I think, like they said, the social media and this nonsense that got people twisted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he went out on his date with this girl, and the girl had like 2 kids. And then he was like, "Yo, you ain't giving me none." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Yo, you a clown. Like, you a whole clown. Like, for even saying something like that, or even talking like that." Because, like you said, as a man, I feel like we are built and designed to handle certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But just because that woman had 2 kids and that woman wasn't giving you none when you felt like you supposed to have some, yo, you don't have to like disrespect that woman and disrespect them. Like, yo, what kind of man is that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So on the flip side of that coin that you're talking about, it's like I think some of this stuff need to be rearranged. I just feel like there's an overcorrection in both directions. You know what I'm saying? Like, people just want to overcorrect because as a man, like, you don't have to go back and forth and argue and shout out to my man Jomo, because he the one that actually taught me that. Like, ain't all this argument and going back and forth and making yourself look stupid. First of all, you're not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if you just have a standard and you stick to your standard and you stand for something, and even if that was that man's standard, he ain't had to treat her like that, kick her out of his car and leave her wherever she left or whatever like that. But it's just like, man, you're a clown, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know why people think that they want to get points for this or do this, that, and the other and treat people a certain way. But like you said, as a man, we're supposed to be able to handle all that. As a man, we're supposed to be able to take that on a chin. And you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, if that's what she want, you got to respect that. Take that. If that's your L, take that as an L and move on to the next, bro. Because whatever it is you're looking for, it obviously wasn't there. But you don't have to like disrespect somebody and try to make somebody look bad for that. It don't make any sense to me.
Another thing that before we get deeper into this conversation, man, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Final Notice podcast, man. So we've been gone. It's mostly on my end because I just had I've been had the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, crazy. I'm coaching. I'm working 2 jobs. It's no excuse, but it's been a lot of moving parts in my life the last couple of weeks. So welcome to the Final Notice podcast. This is a live interactive podcast. We're going to start streaming 8 o'clock on Wednesdays.
Hey, I wasn't going to tell on you, bro. I wasn't going to tell on you.
man, look, until we figure out this time stuff with this football stuff, I'm in over my head, man. So welcome. Take a seat, grab a notepad, get comfortable. We are talking about accepting your transition part 2. We had a part 1. If you didn't get the chance to watch it, go back and watch it. It is on YouTube. Part 1, we had Boss Man Vlog on there. Shout out to Boss Man Vlog. He came out here and gave his perspective on what it took for him to get to his transition, and we're going to continue that conversation. Man, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I haven't even had the time to call you, man.
Yeah.
Did you see that video with that dude in Chicago that was beating up on the little boy's mother, and the little boy pulled out the gun and shot and killed him?
Yeah, I felt mixed feelings about that, but I'm glad the truth came out eventually.
Right. So what was your take on that?
Well, at first, the way they reported it, and when the police officers or whatever made that arrest, and they reported the way they reported it, they just seems like the lady called her son in there and told him to kill a guy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Did that man have a right to put his hands on that woman? No. You know what I'm saying? And did he deserve to lose his life? No. But, you know, after everything came out and they showed that video, that man just straight punched that woman in her face. I'm glad they got off. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, that's you don't have a right to do that to anybody, especially put your hand on somebody. So if that was the consequences of his actions, then hey, that's what happened, bro. It's unfortunate that man lost his life in that manner from just not being, but it goes back to what we were just previously talking about. Are you supposed to be able to take certain things on the chin? Like, yeah, I know they're trying to emasculate us. Yes, I know they're trying to make it seem like we're not that important and our roles is insignificant. But it was like I was talking to my coworkers today, and they were just saying, like, they said something from a different perspective that I didn't think about previously. They were saying, you know, if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, and the man being the head, it was like, yo, if you decapitate the head, the rest of the body gonna fall. And these were 2 women saying this. You know what I'm saying? They was like, yo, yeah, the men, they out here hunting men. You know what I'm saying? They trying to take us down. And it's unfortunate that I feel like that gentleman fell in that trap of feeling like he was being emasculated or his role was insignificant or whatever the case may be for him to act that way. There's no way as a person with restraint, as a human being with dignity, with the intellect level that we have, should have ever responded in a manner that way. I mean, like, yo, was that food or whatever was there that important that you had to stand your ground and try to make a showing and belittle somebody? No, it's never worth that. And at the end of the day, your job is to go home. So you don't know what that lady had or what was going on, but they let them out, bro.
Yeah. I saw a post, I think once the video came out where, and just for the record, the internet and social media is the most insensitive platforms ever created in this world.
Sick, bro.
It is so insensitive, very insensitive that, you know, we make mockery of situations because it's not directly affecting us.
Mm-hmm.
So before I even get to what I want to say, first I want to send my condolences to his family because they're the one who's left suffering.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So my condolences go out to his family, and I believe he had 2 daughters. I saw a picture of him, 2 little girls. I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't do any fact check, but it said that he left 2 daughters behind, or he left 2 kids behind. So my heart goes out to them because now they'll be growing up without a father.
Absolutely.
Secondly, I agree with you. When my wife showed me, shout out to Dana, she hooked the studio up while I was on my way to come in from football practice.
Hey.
When I saw the video, Dana showed me the video. We was in the car. I think we was coming back from the grocery store, and she showed me the video, and I said, "Dang, why he hit her like that? Not once, not twice, but 2, 3 times."
Oh, I ain't seen all that. I really couldn't watch it for real.
At first I couldn't watch it, but I was looking. I was like,
that initial
back
thing, that was terrible, bro.
Yeah, I was like, why? But then I heard the gunshot, and they said, "Oh, his son, 14 years old, shot him." I said, "Okay." I said, "Oh, they said they charged the mom and the son with murder." I said, "Oh, they're going to get off. It's justified in the sense that his mom was being attacked, and her being attacked, that was his way of defending at 14 years old compared to a grown man. Right. The Lord will find it in his favor." And remember, we talking about, this is a very sensitive conversation before we get into ours, right?
Yeah, we had that conversation too. You're right.
The Bible says, obey the law of the land. Yep. And the law of the land says that you have no right to assault another individual.
Yeah.
The Bible also tells us that he who guards his tongue preserves his own soul. So at some point, him being a man, and I'm not trying to take a shot at him nor the dead, but him being a man, he could have easily escalated the conversation. It's not about who's trying to prove what.
I mean, bring it down.
Not even just bring it down, Aaron. I'm a type of person, and I know Dana, and the rest of the women in here, majority of the women on this planet, they're always right. They are always right if you want a peace of mind in your house. So me,
I ain't never subscribing to that. I guess that's why.
Hey, don't subscribe. Listen.
I ain't never subscribing to that.
Listen, this is what works for the Beaupont household. Because I'm a person where I don't believe in back and forth with you. I'm not.
But that don't mean you're always right.
I will give you my perspective. You give me your perspective. Okay.
Right.
I'm a type of person.
They're always right though.
I mean, I was just being funny. You just clearly stated and said, whenever you argue with a woman, you will never win.
Oh yeah, never.
So then if you never win and you know you're not going to get anywhere, because when you look at the video, he said, "Say one more thing." What did she do? She said one more thing. Now he could have easily said, "All right, cuz, all right, miss, go about your business. Just stop talking. Got your food and roll it up." What'd she say?
I'm always right.
Hey, man. What I tell you?
Oh, man.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
sir.
That, to me, that conversation could have been easily handled from the male's perspective. You're arguing with a woman, a grown woman that could even easily be your mother or your sister or your auntie. The level of respect. You know, I mean, I felt it's just sad. I'm glad that young man is home, but now he has to live with that. And the mom is also wrong. The mom could have also, hey man, all right. So both parties are wrong. Now the mom has put blood on that boy's hands.
Yeah.
So nobody won in this situation.
Nobody. In situations like that, most people it's never a winner. It's never a winner. It's always unfortunate that something like that would happen, bro. It's never a win in those situations.
So now somebody has to be buried, and somebody has to be living with the fact that they buried somebody.
Yeah. And that, like you said, that's going to be on that man's conscience for the rest of his life. And truth be told, nobody wants to live like that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really want to walk around like that and knowing that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he probably sleep better or whatever. Like, oh yeah, I was protecting my mom and everything like that, because it could have went anywhere. But at the end of the day, like you said, those mental images and all that stuff, like, yo, I mean, you don't know what kind of can of worms that'll, you know what I'm saying, that'll lead to. You know what I'm saying? Especially if like him being that young. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that young man, if he need counseling or help, that he get the help that he needs and learn how to deal with that, especially after doing something like that. And then you're going through the whole prison system and they locking you up and fingerprinting you. And now you got to sit in a cell. You know what I'm saying? You in there just thinking about what happened. It ain't nothing else you're really going to be thinking about. Right. Something that traumatic and that fast, you know, like all that stuff is crazy, bro.
So with that out the way,
all right, it's a good thing. It's a good topic, though.
Yeah, it's a good conversation. It's an interesting. Again, it's a very sensitive situation, very traumatic situation, and you know, like I said, the internet is just very, very insensitive. Because I've seen some very disrespectful posts. One post I saw was like, he went in for a chicken and got his wings, and I said, dang. Like just the complete mockery.
I'm sorry, man. I like dark humor too, so I understand. That is bad though.
Yeah, I mean it was just
sad, but yeah,
it's very terrible, very sad. Again, our hearts goes out to the family. You know, like I said, he's gone. The family is the one who are here. They're the ones who are left with left with that pain and suffering and reminder of how quickly things can really escalate to a whole different, different situation, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right, man. So the last time we was on here, we was talking about accepting transition.
Exactly.
And I think as a man, it's a very important part of our growth in regards to accepting who we are called to be. And I know you and I have shared it for years. I think we've talked about this as many times as I can remember, where it took certain situations for us to fully give in. And I think what I wanted somebody to get from this conversation is, don't make the mistakes that myself and you or some other people make in fighting their true calling because you think this is what you're supposed to do when you're really supposed to be doing the opposite.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a conversation that a lot of men, especially men, because women pretty got a good idea of what they want to do, how they want to do it. Men, we kind of like sit around for a little bit, go there, dibble and dabble in a little few things. And then by the time we know we about 30, 35, really now we kind of like, oh, okay. The light switch is kind of coming on for majority of us. And then we're trying to pick up our lives where some women, they're kind of like be on their, they kind of like be on their stuff. They be on it. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say women are sometimes more mature in most situations than fellas are, because it takes us a while for us to even process a lot of these things that we want to do.
Man, you trying to make me sound sexist tonight.
Hey, man. I
ain't gonna touch it, man. I'm gonna leave that alone, man. Because I think they too mature. Like the things they think about in their life is just that and the other. But man, those decisions, buddy. I tell you.
Man, they do. I mean, we all make poor decisions. We all do.
No.
We all do.
Hey, but that's the reason why you see. That's the reason why you just said we have a tendency to sit around sometimes, right?
I can't. No,
we sitting around plotting. We planning. Me personally, listen. I'm the type of person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice. Or at least I'll try not to make the same mistake twice. That's one of the reasons why, I took my time trying to get into another relationship and this and other, because I don't plan on. I look at like the children of Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took them 40 years to go on an 11-day trip, my guy. And with that being, I'm really strategic about the things that I do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not just going to go out there and do something just because I feel a certain way. And that's another thing, unfortunately, most people just operate in their feelings. And because they feel a certain way. Not to say that men don't do it, but it's just more common because we don't naturally operate in our feelings. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things they do, I mean, I've seen them, they go from here to there, to there, to here, to here, to there, trying all of these different things instead of other to try to make it work. You know what I'm saying? But the majority of that is I'm just doing what I feel like doing. Mm-hmm. And they tell you to go out here and do what you feel like doing and not really understanding everything that it takes to get to there. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I've had people like, want to be in relationships and doing certain things. And they saying certain things, but I'm like, do you understand what that really entails? You know what I'm saying? What do you do? Like, so for instance, I was in this one relationship and she told me off rip, like, I don't want to have sex. And I'm like, that's good. That's fine with me. You know what I'm saying? That is what I'm supposed to be believing and standing on anyway, even though I was out there living like a heathen, right? Mm-hmm. And it took me a long time because I was like really trying to live celibate anyway and do my thing. And then it got to a point where she was like, well, I want to be more affectionate. I want to kiss more and I want to hug more and everything. I was like, but you don't know what you're asking. Especially a person that is trying not to go down that road, because those affections and those things are going to lead to other things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm, like I said, she's just going off her feelings and how she feels or how I'm making her feel and whatever the case may be. But now all of a sudden it was like, you want this, but you said you don't want to have sex. So now I am the one that's sitting back thinking ahead to give you what you really said you want. Because now what you're asking me, you don't understand what that's going to lead to, because I'm not going to keep doing that and then not keep ignoring my feelings and stuff like that when I already know that I've been putting that part of me on the shelf. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's just me. I might be the exception to the rule or something, but I know most people think like that too.
Yeah, because when we talk about accepting the transition in your life as a man, it falls down to, us really finding who we are. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important in regards to the people we include in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like that standard that you just talked about, as far as like, having that standard for yourself. But in order for you to have that standard, you must know who you are first before you can set a standard for somebody else.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And I think for me personally, I didn't realize who I was. I knew who I wanted to be, but I didn't know who I was until 2014. And as I'm saying is, if you're a young person and you watching this, or you may come across this, there's reason why people like myself and Aaron and the other mentors in this world, they tell you, certain things, or they give you advice so you don't make the same mistake.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. I had role models. I had mentors. I had an older brother. I really didn't have a relationship with my father, even though my father lived in the same household. My older brother was kind of like my father. He kind of like guided me with what I should do and what I shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Until I stopped reaching out to him for advice. Mm-hmm. It took me facing 6 to 20 years. My son about to be 2. I'm sitting in this place in Alabama, Birmingham, Jefferson County Jail. And I'm getting ready to go see the judge for the first time. And my bond is $1.5 million. And I'm sitting here like, what am I doing here? Mm-hmm. I knew what I did to get to this point, but the question I kept asking myself is, why am I here? Why am I back in this situation again? Why am I back behind somebody's walls? Why am I back letting somebody tell me when to get up and when to go to sleep? Why am I back somebody telling me what to eat and what to drink? That's my crossroads of me accepting who I'm supposed to be and accepting that transition part of my life. How I lost all my homeboys to find my brothers That's a huge part of transition. You will lose your Negro friends. You will lose your homeboys, your quote unquote day ones. I call them your fake ones. You will lose them to gain a whole brotherhood of people that either gone through what you've gone through or is elevated to a point in life where that's where you belong or where you're striving to be. That's that part of transition of a man's life that we're talking about.
Right.
And that's where it took me 2014 to figure it out. But I had my motivation. And I think a lot of people, when they get to that point of that transition, they don't have that motivation. And what I mean by motivation is having that one thing that is that key to unlocking that door for you making that transition. Most of the time when we watch sports, right, we hear the grandmothers. We hear, I'm doing this for my mom. I'm doing this for my dad. I'm doing this for my coach. I'm doing this for my best friend that lost his life. There is always a motivational piece as to why this person made that transition to become who they are. And I think a lot of us as men, because of our egos, because of our confusions and lack of motivation, we kind of like falter in the mix. And you'll wait and wait and wait and wait and get to a point where it's like, you know what? You ain't got nothing going for you. You back at home living at your mama's house.
Yeah. I made that transition several times.
Who you telling? I made
it. Because sometimes what you got to realize in your transition, sometimes it's not even about you. You know what I'm saying? Because that was one of the questions that I had to God. It's like, dang, I'm back here again. Why? And then he's straight. Hey, his response was, why do you think you did something wrong? You know what I'm saying? It could have just been, you are the perfect person that I need in this situation so that you can deal with this thing over here. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like I said, I was praying and I always like you go from a 2 household income to 1 household income. You have all of these different responsibilities and monies and things that you have to come up with and take care of, and responsibilities that you have to deal with, right? And then your prayer is like, well, now I'm 28 years old and I have to learn how to really be responsible. Because before then, you know what I'm saying, we didn't have any kids. You know what I'm saying? We was out here, the baby fat, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then we used to it was like a little, like a game for real for the stores, right? The stores always wanted to, make their quota. So what we used to do, and if y'all want to try this, hey, do it, I don't care. We went to Towson out in the mall, right? On a Tuesday, one of the slowest days of the week. You find the slowest day of the week. And then you go right before the store closed, right? And then you play the game. You start getting, I was getting $80 jeans, $150 hoodies, all of the Rockaway, the button-ups, when the button-ups in there, you know what I'm saying? You hit Fat Farm joints and all these other things. Like, we putting all this money and all this stuff on here, and then we get to the counter, and we like, oh, no, we got to take that back. No, we doing this on purpose, right? And then they was like, oh, no, we give you a discount. Oh, yeah, we take some off here. So all the stuff that we really wanted, we was getting discounts on the whole thing. But that was the intention the whole time. It made you think about the sale you can possibly get, and then we kind of like take it away from you. And then the whole time we was getting discounts. But we had that mentality like, yo, we young. We don't care. We got money. This and the other. So now you got to transition from having all of that. Now you got a kid. Now you got bills. Now you got that. Then you transition to not having none of that, and it's just you. Now I'm feeling like, dang, I'm a failure. Dang, like this and the other. I had to learn how to really be responsible now. And I'm 28 with a kid by myself, learning how to be responsible all over again. So, that transition to me was tough. But then once I got to the point where I was getting on top of it, because at one time I was living in an apartment, I was paying like maybe $600. That's how long ago this was, right, y'all? $600 for rent. Then I moved to a house in West Baltimore off Longwood, right? And $933 for rent. But when I was living at the $600 apartment, I kept falling behind on my rent, right? I had to move out of it. They wasn't renewing my lease. So now I moved to a house and I'm paying $900 a month, and I ain't never miss a payment. So now I'm getting on top of the things that I said I want to get on top of. I had food in the house, I had a bus pass to get back and forth to work. You know what I'm saying? I had everything that I need. And then after I pay all my bills and stuff like that, I sit back and I'm like, for the next 2 weeks, I got $25. And I'm like, dang, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what do you say? I'll supply all your needs. He didn't say it once. All of my needs were met. Can't say nothing. So when you start thinking like, dang, like I'm good. Everything is done, but I don't feel comfortable. I don't like this $25. So that was the beginning of me in that prayer and that transition, trying to learn financial management, how to get on top of my money, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So now you master that, then I got to go back home. Dang, why am I back here again? You know, because I really couldn't take that. But the plan was to learn how to save money and position myself so I can get back out there. But when I went back, I felt like a failure. I mean, there's some other circumstances and other stuff that plays a part in the story that I don't really, I don't want to put nobody on blast now. But you know what I'm saying? Some other things that played into that. And I really felt like a failure. I mean, because this is probably like the 4th or 5th time I'm back in a situation, but I had to remind myself is sometimes it's okay to go back to move forward. And even in me making that transition there, it was a work for me to be done. You feel what I'm saying? So that was another whole transition right there in itself, to learn how to get what you really want, how you take a negative situation and make it a positive situation. But you still got to have, even in that transition, discipline to keep your eye on what it is that you really want and what it is you really want to focus on.
And I'm glad you said that, because I think like when people do go back, like I went back too. I actually went back and I was sleeping on the floor of my mama's house with my son clutched in my arms. You dig what I'm saying? So it's not easy accepting that transition. It's not easy by any means, because most of the time that transition comes from us failing and getting back up and starting over. And one thing I know is a lot of people don't like starting over, but sometimes, like you said, starting over is the beginning of you actually understanding your true purpose and your calling.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes when you go back, you start seeing some of the things that you missed the first time around. You dig what I'm saying? And I think when I went back home, one of the things that I learned was how to be a friend. Because I've always shared this, that I had a friend who asked me for $500, and that $500 he asked me at that time was like $5 to me, because I had that much money on me. And rather than giving him the $500, I bought him a bottle of Bel Air Rose, Ricky Rose. I was the first one to buy one for my neighborhood in Ardmore, right? And I remember giving him that bottle, and I was like, I'll be right back. I got you. I'm going to give you right back. And he asked me for this money because he needed to buy a new car so him and his wife could, get their kids and wouldn't have to share one car. Make a long story short, I left and I never came back, and I ended up getting locked up. The crazy thing is, when I came home, even though I was praying to, God open these doors for me, it wasn't necessarily the doors of the prison cells or the jail cells that I was in. It was more so the doors of life outside of the prison walls, as the people behind prison walls say, the free world. I was talking about those doors of the free world that I wanted God to open, because I knew I had a time and a date that I was going to leave behind these walls. But it was outside of the walls. I remember Freeway said a verse. He said that we out, but we still locked up.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be free from here, and I also wanted to be free from there. And I remember Jermaine calling me to his house. And shout out to Jermaine Spriggs, because he taught me what a real friend is supposed to be. Because a friend in need is a friend indeed, right? Or something like that. Or a friend indeed is a friend in need.
Right.
And I remember he called me to the house, and he was like, "Hey man, what's up with little JoJo, man?" I said, "Man, he at Dana." At this point, me and Dana not together. So I'm like, "Oh, he at Dana house, Dana mom's house or whatever." He was like, "Man, I need you to come over when I get off work, man." I said, "For what?" He said, "Just stop by." I like, all right. I went back over there, right? When he got off work, he handed me a phone. And every time I say this story, I almost want to cry, because he doesn't know the magnitude of what he was showing me that particular time of my life. Because at that particular time of my life, I had deprogrammed everything that I have learned in life and reprogram myself to learn as I'm going now. Right? So when he gave me the phone, he handed it to me, he said, "This is your phone. It's an iPhone. My first time having an iPhone. This is your phone. You're on my plan. Don't have to worry about paying anything. All you have to do is just that don't change anything on my plan." And I was stuck. Then he said, "Here is $500. Listen to this.
Same $500 he asked you for. Wow.
He said, "It's $500. I immediately started crying. He said, "Listen, I'm not giving this to you to make you feel bad, but I know you need it. I want you to take little JoJo to the store. I know you lost your apartment. I know you lost your car. Go buy him some clothes, go buy him some toys, and buy him a bed." Matter of fact, Jermaine bought my son his first bed that he slept in when
it's all
he
good.
bought my son his first bed when I came home. And what I learned from that situation was learning how to transition from the so-called friends, the so-called lifestyle, to accepting people that I would not even do things for. And he showed me that when you have compassion, anybody that want to know why I started that community activism, it wasn't because I was walking one day and something fell on top of my head and boom, I wanted to start feeding the homeless. No. It was predicated off what Jermaine did for me when I came home. He showed me what compassion is, and that's what put it in my heart where I'm going to go out and do the same thing. Wow. Because that transitional part of my life wasn't complete until I met Jermaine when I came home.
Right.
So when we talk about accepting your transition, it's not easy as people make it sound like. I'm not going to sit here and tell you like how some of these pastors will tell you, "Oh man, I remember I was dead broke. I had these businesses and nothing was happening. Then God."
No, it's not. But God,
man, I'm trying to tell you, man. They don't even tell you that dirty part of that transition because they want to tell you how beautiful it is so you can run to the altar to put money in the collection plate. But that's not how you motivate your congregation or motivate your community to want to do better. You got to tell them the ugly side of it.
Yeah.
Because when people see me now, Aaron, there you bought a house. Yes. It took me 7 damn years to save up for my down payment. It took me 7 damn years to work on my credit. I just didn't get up and had $40,000, $50,000 and say, "Here." I had no help. But I had the motivation. As many times people were telling me no for jobs, I kept praying. I said, "God, I refuse to go back to my old ways. I will continue to hear no, but one day I know you're going to let somebody tell me yes." So it's not easy, but accepting that transitional part, once you start doing it and start accepting it, I'm telling you, it is the most beautiful thing you can find yourself in this world.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing within that as well is humility, right? Because you can't accept that transition and be prideful at the same time.
Yes.
You can't accept that transition and just be on yourself. I remember one time when I was working downtown, right, in a transition program. We was helping students learn job skills. And this lady, like I said, it was the first time I ever realized or understood what a narcissist was, right? And I stood up for the girl. But, because I stood up for her, I guess she felt like I was opposing her. I stood up for the little girl, the student. I guess the teacher felt like I was opposing her. And it wasn't like that. I just thought we were there to help the kids. You know what I'm saying? Because if she'd have told me the game, I probably just would have went along with the game. You know what I mean? But you can't say that because then it's going to make you look sick. You know what I'm saying? You probably obviously realize that it's a crazy thing to do anyway. So now they trying to come for my job, right? And in that transition, they was like, "Mr. Bradshaw, I'm tired of your ish." And I'm looking at them like, "No, I'm tired of y'all ish." You know what I'm saying? I'm walking around prideful. "Oh, I ain't going to let them screw me. I ain't going to let them screw me." Forget all of that. But it was in a moment when I learned how to shut up. I learned how to humble myself. I learned how to stop fighting. And then when you really start letting God do the things and you humble yourself, God start talking to you and start giving you instructions. You know what I'm saying? You start meditating. Because now it's like, I ain't trying to fight this my way. It ain't going nowhere. I'm beating my head against the wall. But that was also the one that the nugget that he showed me about your enemies becoming your footstool. Because if I bring you out of this, I'm gonna put them under your feet. But I don't want you treating them like that. So I gotta humble myself, you know what I'm saying? Because here's one of the things that happened. The same guy that they brought in to try to get me fired needed me to help him keep his job. You know what I'm saying? And then most people be like, oh, no, you remember when you did that? Hey, this and the other. Like, no, but that's not how you get blessed, because then you go right back in the blender. You feel what I'm saying? That's not how you stay blessed. That's not how you come out of a blessing. You turn around and, no, I remember when you did this, and they lied. Well, I really didn't lie or whatever like that. I actually told them the truth. I just didn't hear or know what the heck was going on, but I could have lied. I could have been like held that over his head and try to make him feel bad for what he did. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, no, you got to accept that transition. You got to have a sense of humility. And once I started having that sense of humility, I started getting a battle plan. You know what I'm saying? I started listening. I started understanding my union. I started emailing my union. And instead of fighting them myself, now I'm going to get my union involved to the point where they back up so far. And then I got to the point where I was like, yo, I'm still on my old school payroll. I just left. You know what I'm saying? And went back to my school. While these people try to get fired. And then I find out years later that woman, that teacher, and that dude that she brought in, they forced her to resign and quit and they almost fired her several times. But see, that's what happens. Like, you got to put your hands up and you got to let the cliche, let go and let God. But that's what it really is. You can't fight in your battles. You can't keep sitting up there with this prideful, like, I don't like the way you doing this. No, I don't like the way you doing that. No, I'm going to fight you. And this, that, and the other. 9 times out of 10, I don't know anybody that I work for. And if I'm wrong out there, I mean, you can just throw it in the chat, throw it in the comment. But most of the times when things got better is because we get quiet. We humble ourselves because the battle is not ours. You know what I'm saying? And then, or we'll get these battle plans and then you should start moving strategically. And all of these other factors start playing in. And I look up at it now. Look, I'm still here. And both of them gone.
And you know, I think that's another. I'm glad you touched upon that as far as like letting go. You have to look. You can't hold on to the old past or your old life and say I'm going to keep reaching for the future. You cannot do that.
It's impossible.
You cannot. That is like the worst thing you can do for yourself. It is better for you not to even try to go forward. Just stay where you at.
Yeah, your eyes is in front of you.
Yeah,
the goal is in front of you. The reach in front of you is easier and it's better. Like, like
you gotta let go. You gotta completely let go. It's hard, but you have to let go. Look, man, I left a lot of people behind. I left a lot of people, and I'm still leaving people behind.
Yeah, me too, bro.
I'm still, man, look, if you come at me with that nonsense, I ain't even got time for you, man. I don't care how long I know you. I will respectfully remove myself to the point where I will make myself inaccessible to you.
And see, that's what we were talking about earlier about the whole manhood stuff, right? Yeah. See, that's real manhood. Like, yo, I can love you no matter how much this hurt, but I have enough sense to walk away.
Yes.
I can walk away. You know what I'm saying? Because who I'm trying to be and who I want to be does not require me to be the old me.
Yep.
You can't keep holding on to the old you, like you said, and trying to be a whole nother person. It's impossible. But see, what happens sometimes, we get lonely or we need that self-love and that validation. That's what we need, that validation. We need somebody to be around us to make us feel important. Like, but they be the main ones that hold you down. I think at the time, now we've gotten better, but I think one of the hardest things that I've learned how to let go and do is like, even when you have to do that with your own family. You know what I'm saying? Because then it comes like when people start looking at you like, oh, you better than us and this, that, and the other. Like, no, I tried. I did what I had to do. And what they say, what Jesus said to the disciples, if they don't receive you, you got to dust yourself off, keep moving. He didn't say cuss them out. He didn't say throw it in their face. He didn't say, oh, you're going to regret this. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that people tend to do when people reject them. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we have an issue with rejection. No, just take that rejection. Take that L. Suck it up, man. Because you are built to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to sit back and retaliate and go back and forth and this, that, and the other because you and your feelings, because you feel some kind of way. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do that. What you do is you learn from that. Humble yourself and position yourself because you know what I realize? Success is the best revenge anyway.
Mm-hmm. Very.
When people count you out and leave you for dead and leave you behind, instead of you sitting back there trying to, like, unfortunately, this is somebody I know, they was in a open relationship, and then the husband was like, "You getting too big," right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they break up and they leave, and then she gets small. Like you could have did that in your relationship with your husband. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't do it that way. That's pride. That's arrogant. That's ego. If you're gonna do that, do it because you love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, do it because that's what you want to do. But the best way that you can get revenge, and I'm saying it not like in a bad way, or I'm gonna get you back, because that's not gonna happen that way, as we just previously talked about, is by moving your life. Like I am still blessed to this day because I refuse to talk bad about people that did me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I refuse to talk about them. I understand that they are under my feet. I will not kick dirt on them. I'm going to keep stepping. I'm going to keep walking, and they have to keep watching me grow and be great in God and as a man on this earth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best revenge you can ever get on somebody, because now they have to sit back and look at the person that they could have had in their life and the person that they had next to them in their life. You know what I'm saying? And be like, damn, I missed out on that person. That person was really that. That person was that. You know what I'm saying? And I had to walk away from several people in several instances and to do that. But I'm never going to disrespect nobody. I'm never going to throw dirt on their name. And I'm never going to do that, because the more I humble myself, the more I stay blessed, the more I keep shining, the more my joy and my peace stay intact. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to get on Facebook and be like, yeah, this person want me. I don't care. Like, but realistically, you don't even like talk about it because you probably.
Hey, look. When I go on Facebook and I be seeing especially the women, they be posting this. Hey, women, I'm not trying to get on y'all, but y'all make yourself look so bad, man. Stop it, please stop it. My sisters, y'all need to stop it. They
I
go
can't say
back.
that 'cause I know one guy, man.
You can tell who's going through a bad relationship. This man.
It's called bleeding. You bleeding out.
Oh my gosh,
You bleeding out on people, and it's like it don't make you look strong. It don't make you look good. Like you said, it really makes you look weak. But I understand that might be your form of healing or your form of getting over it. But it also, like, the type of people that are seeing it is not the type of people that need to see it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you do need to go on that dark side of the mountain and heal.
Mm-hmm.
So that God can build you up, work on you, and then set you forth. You say, humble yourself under the mighty hands of God. Due time, I'll exalt you. You feel what I'm saying? But that's what that means. You don't have to get on social media and talk about your baby daddies or your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend and your ex-wife or your ex-husband and how they did this and how they, like, yo, you just bleeding all over yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you bleeding out and people can see it. You might get your likes and this, that, and the other because these are other hurt people that's hurting along with you. So what y'all really doing is trauma.
The sad ones be the ones that I be seeing. They don't even. They probably have like 2 or 3 likes, and I'm talking about pictures where they showing everything. And I'm like, I'm good. It's like one of the posts that caught my eye last week was, I'm good. I'm out here, and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, damn. If I was single, I'd be like, man, how much you charge?
No, but that's just, you know what's sad to me though? What's up, Toya? You know what's sad to me is when I see stuff like that, like it don't really, it does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? When I see women that like just exploiting their bodies and this and the other, because I look at, take it from a man, and when you see one girl twerk, you seen all of them twerk.
Yeah,
that thing might be bigger, it might be small, it might move a certain way, it might this and the other. But at the end of the day, there's only so much you're gonna watch, unless you really just a pervert. You know what I'm saying? Or you really got like something in you, like. But that's what it is. But it just goes to this other video. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna send it to you when I get a chance. I think if I didn't send it to you, when a guy was like, the enemy will sit back and make the good sound bad. You know what I'm saying? And change the name of it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you sit up there and you watch and stuff like that, and you like obsessed with it, and this and the other, it's just called a perverse you're a pervert for real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I can see, like my homegirl was telling one of them, like, oh, she was down in Florida. I'm like, oh man, you'll love it down here. I'm like, for what? Like, oh, you know, these women down here. I'm like, y'all stuff is nice to look at. I'm a man. That's what I'm attracted to. I love it. That's fine. But at the end of the day, that stuff does nothing to me. It does nothing for me at all. Because you had one box, they all the same box. Some of them might be different, some of them, but at the end of the day, you're gonna do the exact same thing with all of them, bro.
Hey, look,
like it's come on, bro.
Look,
Like,
look, when I was, and this is all part of my transition because I look, a lot of people didn't. Everybody be like, "Oh, you ain't dating. We love y'all marriage, la la la." I know one of my cousins. He be like, "Man, I just love the fact that I could be talking to you on the phone and your wife be right there, and we just all be cutting up." Nobody knew that me and Dana had a rough part of my relationship where I never posted nothing on Facebook. Never did I say, because at the end of the day, it was all part of my transition of me growing up. So the one thing I will say this about accepting your transition is accepting the responsibilities of the decision and the choices that you have made for yourself.
Oh my God.
If you do not accept that first, you will not grow, you will stay stagnant, you will go backwards, and you will go back to the same place where you was before you got to where you were at that point.
Yo, put your cash app at the bottom for offering, bro.
Man, I'm telling you.
You preach.
Look, a lot of people, you know, Glenn was at my house. Glenn came to my house about 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay.
He called me, right? And he was like, "Hey, man, where you at?" I said, "Man, I'm in the crib." He said, "Man, I'm about to pull up, man." I said, "Where you at?" He said, "I'm in Atlanta." I said, "All right, yeah, man." I said, "Man," he said, "Man, I'm tired, bro." He was driving from Arizona and going back up to Maryland to go to New York because he got his own company. Shout out to Glenn. If anybody needs any type of logistics,
from AC,
go holler at Glenn Stewart on Facebook if you're looking for any logistics type of business, free promo. So, anyways, he called me saying he need a place to sleep. He need a place to shower and need he need a place to rest. I said, "Come on, there's an extra guest room downstairs. You know, you have your own quarters. You know, you can take your shower, rest whenever time you want to get up and you leave. Just take the back door, lock the bottom, and then just go about your business. Enjoy yourself, right?" And I remember sitting down with him in the backyard, and he was like, "Man, I'm glad. Man, this is you. This is you." He said, "Man, this is." I said, "Yeah, it's nice. It's cool." He said, "Man, I'm working hard to get something like this." I said, "Well, that's what's up, man. Just keep on going." And anybody from Coppin that knows the situations from Coppin, we'd be like, "Why the hell is he even at your house?"
Right.
Why is he even in your? Why are you even talking to him?
Right.
Let me tell you guys something. I'm a person that I do not put blame on nobody else. I control what I control. They control what they control.
Absolutely.
I control what I did because that is what I did. People be like, "Well, he ratted you out." Yeah. To you, he ratted you out. To me, he did me a favor. The reason why I say he did me a favor is because if I didn't put myself in that situation to be a drug dealer, who I was not called to be, right? If I didn't put myself in that situation and allowed him to tell on me, then there would be no conversation.
Because you really could have retaliated. Yeah.
Right. It's no conversation. But because of my mature mindset and my belief in God, right? I said, "God, I can't be mad at him. That is what he did. That's what he did. If I have to be mad at anybody, it's me." Why? I threw away 3 years of college education. I was a junior. I was going in my junior year. I got expelled from all University of Maryland University school system in the whole state of Maryland. I was booked in essential bookings. $175,000 was my bond. I went from a college student to a convicted felon. But I accepted everything along the way in my life. Why? Because I always took full responsibility and accountability for my actions. So am I able to forgive him? Yes, I will forgive him today. I will forgive him tomorrow. I will forgive him in eternity. Why? Because if I said it was because of you, it's why I got locked up, then I have not grown up yet. So it is very, very important. And I'm not saying it will work for everybody, but you have to try your best to learn in order for you to move on in your transition or transition into your next calling in your life, that you have to accept, God, I accept it all. These are my mistakes. Because even the Bible says when we confess our sins, it didn't say part of the sins. He said when we are faithful and just to confess all of our sins, he is also faithful and just to forgive us. If I accept all of my shortcomings, God, I have done all these things wrong. I have made all these mistakes. I hung with the wrong crowd. I've done the wrong things. I've stole from people. I've killed people. I've robbed people. I did X, Y, and Z. I've accepted my mistakes. Now he can elevate me because I have acknowledged.
You know, that's the dirty word in the world today, man. It's
They don't
called
wanna hear it, though, man.
accountability, bro.
They don't want to hear it.
And not only that, it's called integrity, which is something that we also need to normalize and make regular again. Is to have a standard and to have accountability and integrity. And if you really think about it, that's one of the biggest reasons why God said David was a man after his own heart. He accountable. I did this. I'm wrong. I'm dirty. We talked about it on previous pods about Jacob and Esau and how Jacob didn't receive the blessing until he admitted that he was a liar and a deceiver. You know what I'm saying? He ran his whole life trying to, looking over his shoulder, but he accepted accountability for his actions. And that's the same thing that I said. Even with my, I tell people who really don't understand the spiritual side of life, like one of the main reasons why my marriage fell apart is because I didn't know how to be a man. I didn't know how to be a father. I didn't know how to be a husband. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say a whole bunch of other things, but I never tell or say the things that I can righteously point a finger at and say that, it's somebody else's fault. No, I would never do that. Because at the end of the day, if I looked myself in the mirror and I was obedient and I did the things that I knew that I supposed to have done, like pray, like I really should have sat underneath of my my godfather more, you know what I'm saying? Try to get that tutelage and things like that. If I just would have sat down and listened and learned how to take instructions, I'm not saying that it would have worked, because I believe there's some other things that happened in there that still could have caused the situation to happen the way that it happened. You know what I'm saying? But excuse me, at the end of the day, it was like I accepted accountability for me. Like I said, when I was at the job that we was talking about earlier, when I sat back and I started taking accountability for me, that's one of the things that, Mr. 45 is keep trying to do, and these MAGA Republicans out here that's trying to do. It's like they don't want to accept accountability for the things that they done. They just want to point the finger and say, oh, look at what he did, this and the other. But, in that transition, what I learned, what that got to do with you? What the saying, what that has to do with the President in China? Nothing. You can't sit back and say you're going to grow and be better by pointing the finger at somebody else, because even if you point the finger at somebody else and take the eye off of you and put it on somebody else, what happens is you still never grow. All you're doing is still making excuses for yourself. All you're doing is saying what you have not learned how to do and overcome and accomplish. So you will still be pointing the finger at other people your whole life, and you still will never elevate. And you still will never be better. So look in the mirror and take accountability of the things that you have done. And I wish more people would do that. You know what I'm saying? So we can stop this generation of raising kids the way that we was raised and experience some of the things. Because that's one of the most important things, especially if you're a parent. You have to look in the mirror and say, yeah, I messed up. I did this. I did that. This, that, and the other. We ain't blaming this person or that person for leaving, and this, that, and the other. Because although the situation turned out to be the way that it was, guess what? Like, we still communicate. You know what I'm saying? We still have a rapport. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame you. I don't hate you. Like I said, one of the first things I learned how to do was forgive. That's when I truly learned the real meaning of forgiveness, man.
And I think, and I think that's the most important thing, man. So, I mean, it's hard. It is very, very hard to do. But once you do it, I think personally, it is by far the best decision that I have made in my life. Is accepting who God wanted me to be, because I always knew I was different, I knew that it was certain things that I was doing that didn't make sense that I was doing it because there was no point for me to do it. But at the end of the day, once I started giving in and started accepting and embracing it, my life became more clearer. I had the right people around me. Now I'm not downing anybody that has ever came across in my life that were there for the right season. But when that season was over with, I had to go on with my life. I don't talk bad about people. I don't talk about people because at the end of the day, I was there with them. You know what I'm saying? But when it came for me to grow up and grow to a different level, I never looked back, and I would never look back. But if
he who without sin cast the first stone, bro.
right,
no way in the world you talking trash and this and the other when
right,
you're in a situation with somebody that you know you don't. And I think that's what, even to this day, man, if I choose to do something wrong, and I still do, I still choose the wrong thing sometimes. But I do it knowing, one, the consequences of my actions, because I think ahead, and I do it understanding and knowing that this is a decision that I make. So even if something bad was to happen from this situation, like, I have to take accountability and accept that as a man. That's just who I am.
Well, it's been a great conversation, man. It's been long overdue. It's been a lot of moving parts. Trying to get it situated. I ain't gonna lie. If I tell you how quickly I drove to get in the house, my son was like, "Dad, you gotta slow down. You're gonna get a ticket." I said, "I gotta get."
Bro, when you called me, I was on Lock Raven. Anybody that know me,
I know where Lock Raven is.
Oh, people already know I drive crazy anyway sometimes. But I was on Lock Raven and Helen Road when you called me. I took my daughters to Michael's. I got home in 10 minutes, bro.
Yeah, that's OC.
Yeah, but you know, highway is the highway, so you know, I mean, you can kind of push it a little bit when you get on the highway. But
that's OC.
Yeah,
that is OC. Well, definitely.
My daughter looked at me and grabbed the joint up there. She started holding on.
So we definitely thank you guys, for tuning in, man. It's well over we're 6 minutes over, man. Thank you for the viewers. Again, this is Final Notice Podcast. We are a live interacting podcast. It's been another great conversation. Tune in next week, Wednesday at 8:00 for another great conversation. If you have a comment, if you have any concerns, if you have any prayer requests, please message us on Facebook at Final Notice Podcast on Facebook, or you can comment below and say, "Hey, I need to holler at you guys." We're very accessible. If you feel like, you have something that you want us to share on here, please let us know. I think one of the times we were here, one of my neighbors asked a question, and I thought it was a great question, and we answered that question. So we do interact with the listeners and the viewers of this podcast. It's something that we do every podcast, which is, what is your final notice for this week?
Whew. Man, I've been going. My final notice for this week would be never give up your dreams. I mean, it sounds cliche and crazy, right? But it took me 15 years, and I feel like God kind of put me in a position to make me want to change, right? Like, he put me in a position, like my job was making me sick, bro. Like, even my job now, like, we started ESY, and I think I'm grateful for some of the people that I'm working with. I'm grateful for the people that I work for now, because they like old people I used to work with that was like really cool and they know how to do their business. But like, it's not to say it's gonna be the same during the school year, but like, I'm trying to transition out of the school system, so this is another transition. But at some point in time, I became complacent. I became comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up staying 15 years in a place where I knew good and well that I really shouldn't have been. It was all right, and I had purpose, but I gave up on ownership. You know what I'm saying? I gave up on my dreams. But now it's like, I'm at a position. I'm praying by the end of the summer, I get my home improvement license. You know what I'm saying? And then start my LLC, because now I'm going into ownership. Now I can start working on my dreams. Now I can start doing the things that I know that's inside of my heart to do. So I say all that to encourage everybody to just keep holding on, keep fighting, keep finding a way to get your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Don't give up, especially if God said it's supposed to be yours. Because a friend of mine is going through something right now. You know what I'm saying? And I was telling him, bro, like, you can't forfeit you can't forfeit your dreams. You can't forfeit the blessing. You can't forfeit something that was already that's yours, that was blessed to you, and you just walking away from it. You know what I'm saying? But don't give up.
Hey, it's funny you said this, man. So last week, man, I told you
With you, by the way.
I had a rough week, man. I quit my IT job, man. I quit my IT job and called the manager back, like, look, man, I'm not quitting, man. I'm not quitting. No, let me tell you something. I know I gotta go. I gotta go. But let me tell you something. And this is my final notice for this week, right? Is accept and embrace the transition, right? Embrace it, love it, because we know what the final product is going to be.
Yes.
You know what the final product is going to be, right? You're going to get to that point, like, man, I wish I would have made the transition a lot faster, right? So last week, Wednesday, we celebrated my daughter's Sweet 16 on that Tuesday. That Wednesday, I go in the office, right? This guy pissed me off, Aaron. Oh, I walked in, I was on the phone with you.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with you. I said, man, I'm going there today, and I'm going to tell that guy I'm kicking rocks, man.
Right.
On the phone with you. Matter of fact, I forgot.
Yeah, you said you didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Man, Aaron, I walked in that place like Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. I was jacked up, waiting for him to say something, and guess who came crawling in to say something? This Bama right here said something to me. Oh, he said something to me, champ. He said something to me, and I had something to say back to him. And I told him, I said, hey, man, slow down, champ. It ain't even all like that. Relax. Matter of fact, I got something for you. I went to the director. I said, hey, man, I got too much going on in my life right now. And you know what? Next week, Friday is my last day. He said, why? I said, I got too much going on in my life right now. And it wasn't because I have too much going on. This guy added on to what was going on in my life. So I walked back to him. I said, hey, man, you ain't got to worry about talking to me like this anymore. I'm tired of your disrespect. I'm gone, man. It is not about the money with me. It's all about my respect. I'm gone, champ. I got another full-time job. This was supposed to be my extra job, but it's a full-time other job when I'm talking about full-time job.
Another full-time job with a headache.
But here goes the reason why the Bible says if you find a wife, he who finds a wife has found a good thing and has found favor in the sight of the Lord. Here comes Dana. I'm always right. Matter of fact, let's put that up there. But I'm always right, though. I talked to her, and she was like, why you quit? And I was like, I don't know. I just got tired. She said, okay. But it was the way she said, okay, it had me started thinking. And I started thinking the whole weekend. And I said, no, I got bills that I want to pay. I can use this paycheck to kind of like knock these bills out. I got things that I want to do. I want to pay this car off. I can use this little bit of money to pay this car off. So I said, man, maybe I should never quit. I should never let my emotions and my pride get the best of me. Let me call him back. I called him. I ended up apologizing to him. Me apologizing to him, he didn't apologize to me and said, look, I'm under a lot of pressure and I took it out on you. I am sorry.
Wow.
I said, yeah, well, you know what? I'm sorry too. But you're not getting a resignation letter from me. I am not quitting. I'm not a quitter. So he said, I'm glad you said that. So I went back. I'm still back at my other job. But I'm saying this to say this. As Aaron, you said it, and I love the fact that you said it. Your pride at that crossroad is the key that drives your future for you, man.
Yes, sir.
If you humble yourself and accept your calling and do not let your pride get in the way of it, don't worry about what people will say to you. Don't worry about how people will look at you. Don't worry, like, man, you went from having money in your pocket to waiting on a paycheck. I've had all those things said to me. I never, ever let my pride get the best of me.
Yeah. My homegirl going through it right now. And I have to make sure she check her pride. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, a lot of the stuff that you saying sound like your feelings. A lot of stuff you saying, at the end of the day, you got to do a job. Do the job. Stop letting people try to dictate what you saying and what you doing or controlling the things that you going through. You know what I'm saying? It's just a job. Check yourself. You know what I'm saying? Get what's yours and get out of there, because at the end of the day, you got bigger plans than being here anyway. You don't want to be here. So use that as motivation and fuel to get out of there. Stay low, keep firing. Who said that?
Stay low, keep firing. Hold on.
You know who it was.
Beanie Siegel.
Yes, sir. Stay low.
Keep fine. Yes,
all
sir.
you gotta do, baby.
What was the name of that song? Wait, move out state. It's a Freeway song.
It's like Rock the Mic.
Yeah, I think it was a yeah, Rock the Mic. Yeah, Freeway was on the hook.
You gotta stay, man. I'm telling you, man. People, I don't know, man, because I listen to stuff different things inspire me. You know, for the so-called over spiritual people out there who only think that you can just listen to Jesus, and yeah, you can praise your way through some circumstances, this, that, and the other. But at the same time, there's some practical knowledge and gems in some of these songs and some of these things. Sometimes it ain't even about the cussing for me. But when you hear stuff like that, it's applicable. Stay low, keep firing. I ain't shooting at nobody. I don't have no gun. But if you keep your head down and keep going about your business and humble yourself, that's what you're doing. You staying low and you keep firing. You're going to get up and you're going to be right where you need to be.
Hey, man, good conversation, man. It's been another conversation, great conversation on the Finding Orders podcast. Please, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Finding Orders podcast on YouTube. Man, who's that? Derek? Who's that?
Derek Jones. Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up, Derek? What's going on, brother? If you did miss it, that's good. You can always go back and rewatch it. I think you will be blessed from this conversation. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe on YouTube at Finding Orders Podcast. And then we also are on Facebook, at Finding Orders Podcast on Facebook as well. We are a live interacting podcast. I mean, tell somebody to come and listen and be a blessing. Hey, look, man, next week, Wednesday, we have a great conversation coming up, man. You definitely want to tune in. You don't want to miss it. Again, definitely thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the fact that we've been away for, I think, 2 weeks now. It's all Aaron's fault. So let him take it.
And I'm going to take that because I'm a G, baby.
Yeah, man. So look, man. Tune in next week, man. Hopefully Aaron will be on time, man. Tune in.
Okay, my man.
Hey, man, appreciate you, Derek, man. Listen, brother. Definitely appreciate you, man. We do need a conversation, a platform for us brothers to build each other up. You know what I'm saying? Speak some positivity in each other's lives, and also, want to encourage each one of us to do what's better and also help our communities out. And most importantly, take our rightful spot, within our household and within our community, man. So we definitely appreciate you guys, man. Man, we love you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in, man. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much.